Hello, welcome. Today we're going to be looking at interest generally. We have simple interest, we have compound interest, and other forms of interest. Interest is the compensation that is paid on borrowed money. You want to do a business but you don't have money. You go to a friend or you go to bank, you borrow money. That person you're borrowing the money from, what does he stand to get for leaving his money or her money for you for some time to do business with? What he stands to get is what we call interest. And this interest could be simple interest, could be compound interest. It is called simple interest if the interest is constant over time. And the principle that you started with, that's what you use in calculating the interest for as many years as possible. But when you add up the interest made for a particular period to the principal, in order for you to calculate the next interest, we call it compound interest. So there are two types of interest. We have simple interest, we have compound interest. In engineering, we have also other forms of simple interest and other forms of compound interest. The other forms of simple interest is what we call the ordinary simple interest or exact simple interest. That is when you're checking the time and the time is not up to 1 year. If you're using 362 as your base, it is ordinary. If you're using 365 number of days per year, you call it exact interest. Whereas for compound interest, you have what you call nominal or effective. If you're using less than a year but also under 360 days, you call it nominal. Or if you're using 365 days base, you call it effective simple interest. So now let's look at how to calculate simple interest. If you're given the principal is the amount of capital on which interest is paid. That initial amount that you borrow, we call it principal. Now, the rate of interest is the amount of interest earned by a unit principal. So, rate is simply the amount of interest earned by a unit, just one unit of the principal, and N is the number of years that you are looking at. So, simple interest is simply principal times interest rate times the period, normally in a year. But if this period is less than a year, we call it ordinary. So if it is fractions of a year, but then it is you're using 360 as the total number of days in a year, call it ordinary. But if you're using 365, call it exact. Then for compound interest, this is the addition of the amount paid as interest to the principal. Whenever you're adding the amount that you pay as interest to the principal before you start calculating the next interest, we call it compound interest. It is an incentive for not paying your interest rate at the right time. So if you don't pay, the person should have other things to gain for you not paying at the right time. That is when you use compound interest to calculate. So if you're having compounding less than a year period, we call it nominal. Then if you're using 365 days as an exact, we call it effective interest rate. Then what is the formula to calculate the total amount that you're going to be paying as your compound interest plus your everything? It's going to be principal in bracket 1 plus interest rate all to the power of the number of years or period. So that is how you calculate. So check out these two formulas. Z equal to Pi and this one S is equal to P into bracket 1 plus I all to power n. This is for compound interest and this is for simple interest. So in mathematics and in other fields, you're going to be calculating all this. Because if you borrow money to do business, you're going to be adding this interest to your investment cost. That's why we say that it is normally included in the investment cost. If you're doing your balance sheet as a chemical engineer or as economics, the borrowed money you have to account for it because you're going to be paying interest on it. So you have to take very good care of it. You have to know how to calculate it, whether you're using simple interest method or compound interest method, so that you calculate it and put it in the general cost of your investment. Thank you. If you like this video, please click on the subscribe button. If you like this video, share it so that other of your friends or your other friends can see it. Thank you for your subscriptions and support. If you have any questions or you have anything you want us to add up to our videos to make you enjoy it more, please drop it on the comment section. Thank you and God bless you.